What up, guys, and welcome back. So I thought I'd give you a wee update on the Cj4a Jeep, or Mahindra Jeep, off-road Jeep, whatever you want to call it. So last weekend we got the motor in, and then we worked out we forgot the sandwich plate, so it's a two-piece system, unlike an RB. So we had to pull the motor forward, put the motor back in, and do all that. Reason I didn't record is because I was doing it with my dad, and so he competed in this truck for years, and it was sort of a fun father-son thing, getting this Jeep going again. So I thought I'd give you an update on things we've done, issues we've had, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll go through the new parts, which is coils. We've got brand new plugs, new wiring, new spark plugs, new distributor rotor, new gauge line, and I'll get to that in a minute. New V belts for, I think that's what they're called, new belts for everything. I've got new power steering lines being priced up at the moment. So for those of you who don't know, this motor never came power steering. They did come AC in some models, I think, because it's got the mounts here, which to me look like AC mounts, but this is a power steering pump off God knows what. I'm guessing it came off a tractor because the rack itself came off a tractor. So we'll come around here. We've got all the gauge wirings going through, being done, all the kill switches and the start sequence is being wired up. Still got light bars to put on it. So the gauge line, probably not something you guys are familiar with unless you deal with older vehicles or want accurate oil pressure gauges. So pretty much this is a hardline oil pressure gauge. So it goes inside the block and oil goes up into the pressure. Well, oil pressure it reads oil pressure. I'm pretty sure they feed oil to the gauge and it gives you your reading. I haven't ever looked into how they work, but I'm guessing that's how it works because it's a hollow copper pipe. So a couple of my mates asked why I didn't go with a more modern style with the electronic system with just a wire. Being that this motor pretty much be submerged under mud most of the time, sensors like that don't work. They tried it. Dad tried it when they first came out, didn't work, killed the gauge. Tried a rev counter on it, killed it, didn't work. So there's certain things that we just can't run on this truck. The aim is to get it mud plugging again. I'd like to give it a go, and when I've got a free truck that I'm just throwing a couple $100 at to get going, it's not a stupid investment. The other thing these have that a standard Falcon doesn't, if you would, well, the standard motor doesn't, I should say, is a mechanical fuel pump driven off the crank. So it's got an arm inside that rocks against a knob on the crank, and that pumps the fuel through into the twin barrel carb, which is actually a factory one on certain models of Falcons. But besides that, it's pretty straightforward. Like, nothing's really been modified. It's motor wise for off-roading. Like power steering pumps added because this thing's heavy in the power steering because it's an off-road truck. But that's about it. Like, some of them had a choke system removed. But yeah, it's pretty much a factory 4.1 Falcon. Rest of the truck is pretty much staying how it was originally. We've still got the original Jeep gauge for the speedo, which actually does still work. Pedal system, steering, all that stuff stays the same. Rear end wise, we're probably gonna hard cover this entire tray from the guards and put a plastic fuel tank underneath, because if we can't fix this tank, which has got a broken fitting on the bottom, then we'll have to come up with another option. And realistically, that tank was way too big anyway. It holds about 100 litres, and we never managed to use it. We only ever ran it half full. Well, Dad only did. Paint wise, it's going to be rattle can blue again, because there's no point painting in a fancy colour because it just gets beaten and scratched, as you can see from all the dents and that. In one of the previous videos about this truck, someone asked why it was whether it was a Willys. It is not. It's a Cj4a Mahindra, same as our parts truck, and it was cut right through there where that crack line is in the paint. So they cut it and they welded it back together. You can sort of see, if I get out of the light, you can see the beater weld there, you can see the weld on top there. So the entire truck was cut in half and shortened. If I show you the rear drive shaft, you'll be able to see better that the truck has been severely modified, and this dent goes right down the crack. So that lighting shit. There's your diff. There's your gearbox. I try to do it that way. You sort of get an idea. It is about a foot long. It is a really short drive shaft. The front drive shaft's longer than the rear. Seat wise, can't really change the seats much. Fixed backs, they did try running it and they were uncomfortable. And because of the roll cage setup, they couldn't run any other form of seat, so it had to be something along this line with pretty much a fixed position. These were welded, set at a certain point and welded. And roll cage wise, we can't really do much. So the only thing I will be looking at doing is making a fiberglass top, and that sort of covers this, and then a bolt-in piece that covers that, so that it just sort of covers this. Snorkel's probably going to be changed with a metal one, and we'll run it a bit better than how it is at the moment. But back in the 90s, this thing was built on a budget, and it was, they built it literally in a week. Got it, pulled out the, they have a 3.6 or something like that injector motor, didn't work, could never get it to run right, so they ripped that out and put the 4.1 in. And pretty much this entire truck was built, put in the shed on a Friday and competing on the Saturday, Sunday. So it was not even a week really that they had to fully rewire this truck, which is some of the issue I'm having at the moment, because once it was going, and that's it. So tyre wise, it's running Bridgestone SATs or Firestone SATs, whatever they are. Firestone. These tyres are worth a fair bit of money still. Your chances of finding a set for under $400 is slim. They stopped making them, and these have been on it from day one, and nearly over 20 years later now, the tyres are still good condition and heaps of tread left on them. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like, subscribe and all the good stuff, and I'll try to get some more updates coming of all the other projects that we've got, and the new car I brought and all that kind of stuff. So latest.